Hi everyone, so today I will tell you about 5 things that I've learned keeping my horse in a reining barn. Just so you guys know, we are English riders, but I have my horse boarded at a reining facility. And then I just wanted to tell you about the 5 things that I have discovered while having my horses there for the last 2 years. So here we go. So the first thing that I've learned having my horse there is basically what reining is all about. I didn't know really much about the sport. I remember when I went for the first visit of the facility, they were telling me, oh yeah, we're reiners. But at the time I didn't even know what reining was. So I definitely discovered the sport altogether. So for people that don't know what reining is, so it's basically a Western discipline that's similar a bit to dressage, but it's not really dressage. So it's a discipline that's came from basically cattling or taking care of cattle, and it's basically a series of figures that the horse has to do. Basically, in order to perform, there's I think eight figures or patterns that the horse can possibly do, and it's basically a bit like dressage. So you're asked during the test to do a variation or a combination of all of these elements. And then that's basically how it works. So for people that want to discover a bit more about what reining is, there's this TV show called The Last Cowboy, and that's actually when I really discovered and understood what reining was and how it works and the excitement behind it. So yeah, I really recommend watching The Last Cowboy. I think there's only one season, but it really takes you through what's a good horse for the sport, how does it work, and all of that. So yeah, just give it a little overview there, and then you'll be able to understand what the sport is about. The second thing that I've learned basically is that the whole like Western culture, basically, I've been an English writer my whole life. So yeah, English and Western sometimes don't get along, so you don't really get the good sides of everything when you talk to English writers versus, Western writers. So yeah. It's just a difference in culture. The way they approach their horses, the way they train them is just very, very different. Not only just the change of saddle, the change of clothes and everything, it's just totally different. But it's pretty cool actually. Like for an English writer, I discovered something totally new, and I think it's pretty amazing to see what they can do with their horses and how they're trained. So that's my third point actually, is how the horses are trained. So they usually take younger horses. I think they start them at 2 years old, and they're competing at 3 and 4, I think up to 5 years old. So they're really young horses, so they have to basically break them and get them to be able to perform to the max. And it's really impressive to see how they actually handle and how actually they do to train their horses. They're usually very well behaved. I've never seen one of their horses having like a fit or anything like that. It's just definitely a different way of handling the horse. It requires a totally different training and horsemanship, which is actually something I think a lot of English writers would learn from just seeing them go. It's actually quite fascinating. Speaking of that, there's also the culture. The culture is like totally different. I find that the Western riders are really, really supportive of each other. Even though they're competing against one another, they also support one another as well. And that's something that's totally different from the English riders. I'm not saying that English riders won't support another English rider. I'm just saying it's a bit more on the formal side of things, and so there's a bit more competition involved, and it's usually like, don't talk to me, or don't talk to that person because she's very competitive. That's what she likes to do. Leave her alone and things like that. So you don't really get the same ambiance when you actually go with reining or Western riders in general. They're usually very friendly, very family oriented. They greet everyone. They're really open, and they're really, really relaxed as well. So even though they're gonna go compete and do all of this, they're actually pretty approachable, and they're always super glad to tell you about their sport and let you discover, what it is all about. So I, for myself, tried one of their horses. It's like totally different. I was actually like a little bit anxious because their tack is different. The feeling of the horse is just so different. But it was actually a cool experience. Like, I didn't get to do much. I just got, I think, a full circle at the trot, and I tried one of their spins actually, which is one of their like main, or one of the figures that they're recognized for. Like, there's the spin, so the horse like spins on itself, and then there's also like the sliding stop. So basically, the horse is gonna go almost a gallop. I think they call it like a lope or something, and they go real fast, and then their back legs will just go under their body, and then you see all the dirt like flick around. So I tried one of their spins, and it's actually like a feeling that I wasn't actually expecting. I thought the horse would, like, the way it spins would try to pull you outwards, but it's the opposite. So you're like turning on their shoulders, and so you're like inward, you're tilted inward, so like that. It's actually like really safe. It's not like nothing crazy, but it was pretty fun to try, and I was really excited to try that. So I'm glad they let me try it once. Yeah, it was a great one. And one of the other things that I've learned from that facility is basically the care they have for their horses, especially like their mane and tail. So in reining, they have a long tail and also long manes as well, and the care for them is actually specific. Like, they use a lot of like tail bags and things like that. It's something I've never like discovered in the English discipline. So my horse, being a thoroughbred, she doesn't have like a lot of mane or tail, so I tried basically all winter to get her tail to grow. We'll still have to see the results. So basically I just I was taught how to put like a tail bag and also take care of the tail, and also how this whole like braiding the manes and all of this, like, it's something that I wasn't used to. Like, obviously we're English and we're not competing, so that's why she doesn't have like her mane cropped or anything like that. So I'm like, well, while I have her, training, I just want to see how long the mane can go, and that's how it started. So now the mane is filling up her neck, and I'm trying to get it to grow a little longer and see how it goes. I just find it really pretty for a mare to have like a long mane, and her tail was like, I think she lost a lot of like hair from her tail at some point. Like, I don't exactly know. Like, I've been honing her for 3 years, and I think it's just the fact that she's rolling all the time. She might have pulled a couple hairs, so you could see in her tail that there's actually like a part that's like fluffier or like fuller, and there's like the bottom that's very thin and whatever. So I'm trying to get it to grow a little bit more so I can like cut it even, and yeah, so it looks a bit better and fuller. And then so that's what I tried to do, and I tried the whole tail bagging, and I don't know, I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen. But at least it keeps it like really like clean and manageable and all of this. Same for the mane too. We tried like braiding the whole mane all winter, just because she has some blankets that have a neck attachment, and what happened when you have like a long mane and like it's covered, like the friction just makes the hair like tangle like crazy. So last year, although I was still trying to grow her mane, she lost like quite a bit of hair, like at the bottom of the neck, or like between the neck and the back. And yeah, it wasn't really looking good by the summer. So yeah, this year around she was looking already better, so I decided to put the braids in and see what happened. So far, like, she hasn't lost, like, she loses quite a bit of hair when I take off the braids on her mane, but it's nothing like crazy. Like, it's not chunks, and it's not like looking patchy or anything. It's like a bit more smooth and even. So we'll see what happened this summer, and if the mane and the tail look a bit better. Another thing that I've learned actually being with them is the whole like Western attire, like why they wear totally different style. And I actually learned that their pants are a bit like breeches. They're made to be riding pants. I thought they were just like jeans, like any kind of flare bottom jeans, but they're not. So they actually are specific. I learned that the cowboy boots, you're supposed to put your your jeans over your cowboy boots and not the opposite. So I've seen a lot of people that do the opposite and just put their jeans in their cowboy boots, but it's the other way around. Although they come, like, the cowboy boots would come with like a nice pattern on the outside or whatever, well, you don't see it. You just see the tip of the boot, and that's how it is. What else did I learn? Yeah, I think that's like about 5 things that I've learned about the reining culture. And then yeah, shortly my horse will be moving to a dressage focused barn, just because that's something I want to do personally. That's the discipline we're going for. And that's why she will be most likely leaving her facility during this crazy COVID time. Yeah, I think it's just something that's going to suit us better, and then hopefully we'll be able to advance a bit more in our sport. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can also leave me a comment. I would be really happy to read it and see what you guys want to talk about, or if you want to see something specific, I can definitely do something like that for you. That would be my pleasure. So have a good day.